Assalamu alaikum. 6 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan, the news read by Zahra Sikandar. First, the headlines. The government is formulating national electricity policy to improve power generation and distribution system in the country. 2 terrorists were killed in an exchange of fire with security forces in Sawat today. Members of the Senate and National Assembly Standing Committees on Defense were briefed on Indian ceasefire violations along the line of control today. In occupied Kashmir, liberation leaders have deplored the inhuman treatment meted out to Kashmiri political prisoners in Indian jails. Pope Francis has called for respecting the status quo of Jerusalem to avoid any conflict in the Middle East. International Olympic Committee has banned Russia from 2018 Winter Olympics over its state-orchestrated doping program. And now the news in detail. Minister for Power, Awais Lagari, says the Ministry of Power is being restructured with addition of her professional wing to tackle technical issues of the power sector. He was addressing the 3-day Sustainable Development Program Conference of Sustainable Development Policy Institute in Islamabad today. The minister said a national electricity policy is also being formulated, which would be finalized after approval by the Council of Common Interests. He said amendment in relevant law would be presented in the next session of the Parliament to encourage and allow competition in distribution and transmission sectors of the benefit of power consumers. Minister for Power Division said that Awais Lagari has written a letter to provincial chief ministers seeking their cooperation and support in bill recoveries and against power theft in order to ensure zero load shedding in most parts of the country. He proposed establishment of joint task force by the federal and provincial governments for development of uniform measures, information sharing, and improved coordination. The Power Division has directed the distribution companies to provide maximum relief to the consumers, and any violation of the schedules set on the basis of losses and recovery will not be tolerated. In a statement, the Power Division said the Power Information Technology Company has constantly been monitoring the load shedding on all feeders through online system. It said the distribution companies have been directed to strictly adhere to the schedule. Prime Minister Shahid Haqqan Abbasi chaired a meeting on Evacuee Trust Property Board in Islamabad today. Minister for Religious Affairs Sardar Muhammad Yusuf, Chairman of the board Muhammad Siddiqul Farooq, and senior officials were present during the meeting. Siddiqul Farooq briefed the Prime Minister about matters pertaining to Evacuee Trust Property Board. Meanwhile, students of Cadet College Qila Saifullah also called on Prime Minister Shahid Haqqan Abbasi in Islamabad. The interaction was part of the initiative to invite young leaders to the highest offices and brief them about the working of the government. Iranian ambassador to Pakistan Mehdi Hunardost called on Minister for Defense Production Rana Tanveer Hussain in Islamabad today. Speaking on the occasion, Rana Tanveer Hussain appreciated Iran for its help to Pakistan in difficult times. He said China-Pakistan Economic Corridor will provide a milestone for regional development. The Minister for Defense Production offered Iran to take benefit from China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Secretary General of Iraq's Defense Ministry, Javad Khadim, met Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa in Rawalpindi today. During the meeting, professional matters and regional security came under discussion. The session of the National Assembly will be held at the Parliament House in Islamabad at 4 p.m. tomorrow. 2 terrorists were killed in an exchange of fire with security forces in Charbagh area of Sawat this afternoon. According to Sawat police, security forces were conducting search operation in the area when the terrorists opened fire on them. The security forces retaliated the firing and killed both the terrorists on the spot. This is Radio Pakistan. A delegation of Senate and National Assembly Standing Committees on Defense, led by Senator Mushahid Hussain Sayed and MNA Sheikh Ruhail Asgar, visited Nezapir sector at the line of control. During the visit, the delegation was informed that in current year alone, Indian Army violated ceasefire agreements for 2,200 times, targeting civil population and resulting in casualties of both civilians and the military men. The delegation was informed that the aim of ceasefire violations by the Indian forces is to divert attention of the international community from the atrocities against the innocent Kashmiris in the Indian-occupied Kashmir. In occupied Kashmir, the chairman of all parties here at conference, Syed Ali Gilani, has reiterated that Jammu and Kashmir is not part of India and expressed the hope that the Kashmiris would soon achieve freedom from the Indian bondage. In a statement in Srinagar, he said that India has left itself taken the Kashmir dispute to the United Nations and promised before the world body to give the people of Jammu and Kashmir a chance to decide their political future through a right to self-determination. Addressing Sirat conference in Srinagar today, resistance leader Miwais Umar Farooq, Muhammad Yasin Malik, Maulana Abbas Ansari, and Rafiq Shah said that India is using its National Investigation Agency to suppress the Kashmir's freedom struggle. Leader of the House and Senate, Raja Zafar-ul-Haq, has said that U.S. President Donald Trump's expected announcement to recognize Jerusalem as Israeli capital has deeply disappointed and disturbed the citizens of all Islamic countries. In a statement issued in Islamabad today, he said the announcement will kill hopes for peace and justice. Raja Zafar-ul-Haq said it will also intensify tension, which will adversely affect the world outside the Middle East. He also called for the urgent OIC summit over the issue. Pope Francis has called for the status quo of Jerusalem to be respected to prevail to avoid further conflict and before the expected announcement that the United States is recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. The Pope made the appeal during his weekly audience in Vatican City after speaking with the Palestinian leader and Palestinian religious and intellectual representatives in a previously scheduled audience. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has invited leaders of member states of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to attend an extraordinary meeting on Wednesday to discuss the status of Jerusalem. A spokesperson of the Turkish government told reporters in Ankara today that the meeting will give an opportunity to Muslim leaders to act together and coordinate the response following President Donald Trump's expected recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Iran has denied United States' accusation that the country is playing a destabilizing role in the region. Iranian state media quoted Foreign Ministry spokesperson Bahrain Qasemi as saying that the United States is repeating its groundless accusations against Iran. International Olympic Committee has banned Russia from 2018 Winter Olympics over its state-orchestrated doping program. The IOC President Thomas Bach accused Russia of perpetrating an unprecedented attack on the integrity of the Olympic Games and sport. He also announced, however, clean Russian athletes will be allowed to compete under the Olympic flag. And finally, the weather. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. However, light rain, thunderstorm with light snowfall over the hills is expected at a few places in Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. Shallow foggy conditions are likely over a few plain areas of Punjab and Upper Sindh during morning hours. To end the news, here again a few of the headlines. The government is formulating national electricity policy to improve power generation and distribution system in the country. 2 terrorists were killed in an exchange of fire with security forces in Sawat today. Members of the Senate and National Assembly Standing Committees on Defense were briefed on Indian ceasefire violations along the line of control today. In occupied Kashmir, liberation leaders have deplored the inhuman treatment meted out to Kashmir political prisoners in Indian jails. Pope Francis has called for respecting the status quo of Jerusalem to avoid any conflict in the Middle East. International Olympic Committee has banned Russia from 2018 Winter Olympics over its state-orchestrated doping program. And with this, we come to the end of the news. For more news and analyses, visit our website radio.gov.vk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.